then we let the people decide who is actually going to vote.
Okay.
Before we went to Homa Bay as Linda Mwananchi, where were we? We were in Trans Nzoia. There's a minister from Trans Nzoia. We went to Bungoma. The speaker comes from Bungoma. We had been to Kakamega, Oparanya is from there. We had been to Vihiga, Musalia Mudavadi is Prime Cabinet Secretary from there. The little violence we had in Vihiga was from Kisumu boys who were sent. So all those other areas we had been there, and they also have people in government and development projects. There was no violence. We had been to Taita Taveta. There was no violence. So, and the Lake Victoria Ring Road that is being done, it is not the 500 kilometers. As a matter of fact, part of the funds have been taken now to go and do roads in Rift Valley. No, so there's been rebalancing. They'll only do the section from Homa Bay to Masaran and the other side.
The things I'm talking about are confirmed.
Yes,
it's actually the whole stretch.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll confirm whether there is budgetary allocation for that.
What they have done, they've updated us a World Bank. It will be funded by the World Bank. It is part of the regional integration network. So it is a World Bank project.
Yes, yes.
Yes, it is actually conceptualized in 1968 by Tom Mboya. Now, this idea that some road is being done in your constituency, so you carry machetes and you threaten people to come, not to come to your constituency, is what we are talking about here.
And I disagree with the issue of machetes. I support that no one should carry machete. Either the people or neither
violence
side, including you guys. You shouldn't have carried machetes and guns.
You have condemned both parties. Let him finish his point and then I'll go to Waziri.
Yes, we have been to many places. We've never caused violence. How come it is only when we come to Homa Bay that there is violence? And Kisumu? How come? We've been to Mombasa. There was no violence. There was no violence in Mombasa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's come back. And there is plenty to discuss. I'll begin with you, Bwana Waziri.
Okay.
And that includes the direction of the broad-based government versus Linda Mwananchi, the factional divide evident and the test of the orange now exposed in the aftermath of our late former Prime Minister's death last year in October. Plenty, which includes also your plans as the alternative government, other than, of course, the wild reception political across the country, and also where accountability falls, given that you members of parliament hold sway constitutionally. But then what happens? Is it the executive reaching out or parliament reaching out to the executive? All that is here on the bench with Eliud Owalo, Mark Nyamita, and Carroli Omondi, a trio who in one way or the other have been influenced politically by...
Spectators attend free, bring family, and enjoy an amazing sight.
Live.
Yeah, viewers, welcome to One Ball Brain Production. So we are waiting on because Carroli Omondi is on fire, Pale Citizen TV. And also Nyamita, that Nyamita guy, MP of Uriri, is a fine guy, man. He talks sharply. So they are talking about the Homa Bay rally. And as you know, there's a person who died, a woman who died. Gladys Wanga she has gone to condone with the family of those people who lost their family members in Homa Bay. But you know, the issue with Homa Bay is that, for me, if I'm in this debate, is that the issue with Homa Bay is that from morning, the roads were barricades on the road. From morning, poles za stima zilikuwa kwa njia. From morning, watu walinda mwananchi were being attacked in Homa Bay, even before the leaders came. So you see, it is like somebody is setting you up to fail. And the police were doing nothing. GSU was doing nothing. Nobody was even concerned. So somebody saying that even Linda Mwananchi people had machetes and had guns. So what did you expect them to do? To just accept impunity na wakae home? Mulitaka waogope tu wakae home. Because the town was already taken over by goons in the morning. The roads were blocked in the morning. So people were coming in and they were knowing this is a hostile ground. But also, we cannot allow people from a certain county to decide that, hey, hatutaki watu kuja huku kwetu. Msika huku kwetu kama nyinyi si wa ODM, nyinyi si wa nini. So that is the difference here, viewers. And I think that as we continue to watch this interview, that is what these people are forgetting. That Kaluma and Wanga created a scenario whereby Linda Mwananchi did not have a chance to hold a rally. So Linda Mwananchi in the morning, they were looking at this and saying, hey, watu umeanza hii mapema na hebu jioni itakuwaje? So you know, once somebody prepares you that you are going into violence, what do you do? Everybody has adrenaline. Ukijua hapa ni kubaya, what do you do? You also prepare for the worst. And Linda Mwananchi had to do that rally in Homa Bay because wangekosa kuifanya. Imagine what those people could have been talking about. Umeona hata huyo gunu wa Homa Bay akiongea akisema walikuja wakasema sisi ni wadogo, hatuwezi kuwa wadogo hapa kwetu. Have you heard that goon from Homa Bay talking? The arrogance, the audacity to come on camera and say that they came with guns, walikuja wakadhani ati watatutishia huku ni kwetu. And we are living in a country whereby we are ruled by law and order. We have a CS of Interior mwenye hata haja comment anything. So this is a joke. This is a joke. It's a complete joke and it's nonsense. And that's why I'm saying that Linda Mwananchi were put in a situation whereby they had to react. For them to have a successful rally, they had to make sure that they go to Homa Bay also wakiwa na plan B. This is politics. Your competitor want to mess you up. They are barricading the roads. Kuna watu wanataka kuwasikiza. They don't want you to go to some towns. Wanga ndio huyo amezunguka hapa Western. Nobody has a problem with her. Metembea Mombasa, metembea wapi. But now it comes a time that people just want to go and meet the people and talk to the people. They are saying, oh, usitumie barabara zetu. Kwani wanga barabara zote zenye anatumianga zinakuanga zao za Homa Bay? Yeah. So it's a very interesting issue whereby I'm saying that so long as we are having this conversation, then the most important thing that Citizen TV na vile Carroli wanilia na hii discussion we should be looking at is how the leaders in Homa Bay behaved. A week before that, uliona vile Gladys Wanga alifanya so many rallies in Homa Bay. Hata kuna ile rally nyingine alifanya a day before the visit by Linda Mwananchi, inciting people. Wale watu wenye walienda kuataka hotel wearing ODM uniforms. And I had this Alionya girl saying that siju Patel ndiye alikuwa amewapangia, alikuwa anataka kuwaua so that it can be sympathy. I don't understand. If the governor, if the MPs could just have let these guys to go into Homa Bay peacefully, then nobody would have died. Watu walinda Mwananchi wengi walipoteza maisha, wengi wa attacked, walikatwa. So Linda Mwananchi lost a lot, but also they had to do this rally so that the impunity of Homa Bay governor and Peter Kaluma cannot continue to because Homa Bay inge wazuia kuingia Homa Bay town, then that means Siaya County will have also replicated the same. Migori will have replicated the same. Na Migori nasikia ni goon. Is a goon county. Migori is worse even than Homa Bay. So Migori will have replicated the same. Siaya will have Kisii. Uliona pia Kisii kulikuwa na goons. So Linda Mwananchi had to make sure that by force, by fire, they must hold their meetings to show ODM and to show the leaders of ODM that they will not allow vitisho. They will not allow vitisho because the moment they just accepted vitisho, na wafike si ndo waseme sasa tumeamua rally ishi hapo, it will have been a failure. Wangeambiwa nyinyi ni failures, mnajipiga kifua. Nani aliwazuia kuingia? So it's very, very, very bad when I hear leaders saying, the other side was carrying machetes, the other side was carrying guns. What did you want them to do? Mlikuwa tu mnataka kina babu wakuje alafu nyinyi muachape na mawe alafu waangalie. The police, the GSU. Like kutoka asubuhi kulikuwa na violence. I'm wondering what PS Raymond Omolo was doing all that time. Mbona hata OCPD wa Kisumu County, wa Homa Bay, wa Siaya hawangesaidiana hata kufoma wapeleke kwa GSU ama wapeleke kwa polisi wengi. You see how this thing is fishy? It's very fishy. It's sus. This situation yote ya Homa Bay ni sus because the police allowed the goons to take over the town. The police allowed the goons to barricade the roads. Paka poli ya stima iliyoko kwa barabara, unashtuka hiyo poli ya stima ilitoka wapi? Kama mtu wa kuileta akaidrop, mtu wa Kenya Power. Who is the CS of energy? Who knows people in Kenya Power? People who are in government, of course. Unataka kusema ati opposition utaenda barricade the road alafu government ikuachie. The opposition cannot barricade a road alafu government iwaachie. Government itakunyorosha. Na unajonga tu government huwezi ishinda. So me, I'm just looking at these scenarios and I'm saying, hey, the truth is that this thing in Homa Bay was planned by the governor and the MPs and was sanctioned by Akina PS, Raymond Omolo. Raymond Omolo sanctioned that thing because there's no way that people can take over a town from morning up to 7 in the evening. These guys of Linda Mwananchi had to use long routes to avoid them. Imagine walikuwa wanatumia hizo barabara zingine ndio wa avoid. But now once they reached Sindo, they had to go to Homa Bay town. Homa Bay town was like ni kama ni kampi ya militia. Watu wamezunguka town. And Babu told them, we are coming. Because we can also not have an opposition that is weak. An opposition that can just accept impunity. No. So, as we continue to follow this discussion, I just wanted viewers to be clear. If the roads could have been clear pale Homa Bay kutoka asubuhi, kama kungekuwa na goons wenye wanapiga watu huko sijui Nyandhiwa asubuhi, if the police could have done their jobs asubuhi, then there will have been no violence kabisa pale Homa Bay. Because roads zingekuwa clear, activities watu wanafanya kazi yao, Linda Mwananchi could just have come in, done their rallies, watu wangesikiza, wawaambie vile wanataka, and then this whole thing will have been done. But now, Homa Bay had to expose itself to the world in the name of they wanted Ruto to know that their people do not want Linda Mwananchi. Homa Bay County. Hey, your leaders are not serious. Your leaders are totally not serious at all. Because what they did, and me seeing Wanga going to the family ya yenye wamepoteza their mother and saying, oh, police will need to do their... Police will do what job? Na hii kitu yote ilisanctioniwa na polisi. Let me tell you a story. In Busia town, let me tell you a funny story. In Busia town, kuna time watu walifanya maandamano and I don't know what was happening. Walikuwa wameshika the youth president, Chikuze of Busia. So this guy alikuwa amekuwa arrested na polisi. So the boys from Marachi decided, hey, what do we do? The guys went and I don't know, like they took over the hospital ya Busia. So walienda kwa Busia County wakasema, hey, hakuna mtu anatoka huku Busia County, and it was like a maandamano there. You know what the police did? The OCPD had to call the police from where? Kakamega. Because our Busia hawangeezana na the crowd that was in Busia. So imagine the OCS had to call the other guys, the GSU unit from Kakamega. And those guys come in. Waka end up kuua some young people during that day. But I'm just telling you, that is just a scenario where I'm telling you that there's no way some goons can take over a town like Homa Bay. Na iko na neighboring counties like Migori. Kuna counties Siaya, Kisumu. They have neighboring counties like those ones around them. Alafu none. Hakuna polisi presence yenye ilikuja, au kuona hata wakishutiwa tear gas, au kusikia polisi. Imagine kutoka asubuhi roads zimefungwa, polisi wamefanya nothing paka jioni, and then you guys are telling me that hakuna kitu iko sasa hapa, because this thing is the government was the one sanctioning the violence. The government was the one protecting the goons. I know they were good cops when walikuwa na Linda Mwananchi, but the government had allowed goons to take over the county. Ambia county ka Homa Bay ati polisi wake wameachia tu ati goons wa take over the town. I remember that story kwa political headache whereby somebody was narrating that the goons had placed barricades all over Homa Bay town. Barricades all over. Walikuwa ukipita unawapatia thao. So hata hiyo fota wenye walilipo, sasa walikula do mingi hiyo siku. That is very bad behavior, man. Very bad behavior. And then our leaders are coming out. Uliona ile press conference ya Kaluma. That guy is just irritating, man. Every time he's just posting on X. Every time he's just posting on X. So anadhani the more he talks, the more we forget. We cannot forget what happened in Homa Bay, because that was just the start of impunity in this country. And in this country, before election, we as citizens, we cannot allow to be used na serikali. And also we cannot allow the government to bring you impunity na intimidation. And that's why people must fight it. And that's why Linda Mwananchi had to say, do or die, we have to go in. We have to go into that town and we have to talk to the people. And they went in. Sijasikia Kaluma akisema hawakufika Homa Bay. Juu walifika. Imagine wangefika. What Kaluma will have been saying now. Imagine hawakufika. What Kaluma will have been saying now. Yeah. So it's important that we as citizens understand we cannot fight each other. We cannot barricade roads to prevent another group from doing a campaign. Kama upendi mtu usimpigie kura. Usimpigie kura. If you do not like somebody, do not vote for them. Huku Western nayo tunajua tuko nyuma ya Sifuna. Hiyo nayo si siri. Tuko nyuma ya Sifuna. Because the guys who are supporting Ruto here are only telling us two things. Hey, let me tell you something. We were having a conversation today. The guys who are supporting Ruto in Western have a problem. Because the only problem they have with Sifuna is Sifuna inexperience. And we were telling them. Today we were having that discussion with a large group of people. People were saying Sifuna inexperience. And we were telling those guys, okay, Sifuna inexperience. So we were asking, between Ruto and Raila in 2022, who had more experience than the other? And these guys were telling us, hey, Raila had more experience than Ruto. Okay. And we were telling them in 2013, between Raila and Uhuru, who had more experience? Raila had more experience. So experience does not make you a good president. It's just like being a father. It's just like being a parent. It doesn't matter how many courses you do, nobody can prepare you. But the only thing that can prepare you is your past experience, how you grew up, how you saw your parents treating each other, how you saw your parents treating you. So those things, how you see other parents treating their children, those things will affect how you become a parent. The same thing with Sifuna. Sifuna is a leader. He has seen the best of Raila. Has been Raila for 9 to 10 years. He has been a senator for 4. He's 44 years old. He's a lawyer. So you cannot tell me that Sifuna will not be able to make a decision based on the experience that he has had in his life. So my question is, what kind of experience do you want for Sifuna to have for you to make him president? Because the guy has lived for 4 years on this world, in this world. Akishindwa na kitu hata ChatGPT iko. Advisors wako. You have ministers, CSS. You have experts to advise you. And the baseline is that you know the difference between right and wrong. And that is the basic thing that we all want. So when people talk about experience, na hiyo kitu ninasumbua tu Western peke yake. Na hiyo kitu tushaanza kuwapreachia. Tushawaambia hiyo point experience haina uzito. Because hata tulikuwa tunawaambia governors. Just look at the governors. Like Gladys Wanga. She has been a governor for the first time. So Gladys Wanga alikuwa na experience ya kuwa governor. No, you make her governor and then you see how she works out. Irungu Kangata amepewa governor, overperform. Wamatangi has been given the governorship and he has overperformed. So when you tell Sifuna that he needs some experience from heaven or experience from somewhere to be able to deliver as a president, then we tell you that you the person saying that, you are a joker. Because what we know is that Ruto has failed. Ruto has failed. Ruto has failed in doing what he's supposed to do. Ruto has failed in doing what is called the basics of what a president should do for the people. Because the basics is about basic needs, food, shelter. But Ruto has failed on those. Maisha iko juu bwana. Hata mtuambie barabara aje, the cost of living is high. 1,000 a day economy. It doesn't matter how you sugarcoat this. Maisha ni ngumu. Hata kama una support Ruto, maisha ni ngumu. And we need it to be better. we need maisha ikuwe better. We need the cost of living to go down. Utatuambia inflation, inflation iko chini. No. Huku chini watu wa feel, because we need to feel the economy in our pockets. And that is not what we are feeling currently. Things are expensive. Cost of energy is up. Cost of electricity, tokens ziko juu, zinapandishwa kila time. You don't understand what is happening. And while this is happening, State House inajiongezea budget. State House inagawa watu dogo State House kila wakati. Pesa yenye ingeenda hata kulua the cost of energy, the cost of fuel, weke subsidies. So viewers, we have some serious questions with this government that many people are avoiding, because many people are only telling us, oh, roads have been built. Mudavadi was telling us Western roads zimejengwa. Nini mnataka ingine? Roads mnajengewa barabara. SGR inakuja. Nini mnataka? And what people really want is that they want a government that just can make life easier. Employment ikuwe. Because many people, even watu nyanda business, are closing up because of licenses. So at least make something work. Punguza taxes kwa businesses. Punguza taxes kwa importation. Punguza taxes kwa companies zinaanza, so that you can encourage companies to come into Kenya, companies to set up in Kenya, so that you can encourage companies to be able to absorb the young people. Because many companies are closing up. Many companies are closing up. The math is just not mathing in Kenya anymore. Many companies are closing up. Many companies are selling. Yesterday, the president was holding out a health summit. A health summit. President atanapigia ati mahospitali zimu akiwauliza SHA inafanya ama ifanyi. What kind of nonsense is that? That thing was just off. Why is he doing that? You have a CS for health. You have the guys in charge of SHA. You're just calling everybody. Oh, let's call this one. Let's call this one. How is SHA doing? Mtu akijaribuko kupinga, oh, check this, check that. And you think the president can call me, even me. Me. Even if the president calls me now and asks me something, do you expect me to say that, oh, it's not working? I start arguing with him for what? And do you think that the president can just call you without you being in their itinerary? This guy just taking us for a fool. Just taking us for a fool here. At the president anapigia watu wanauliza SHA vile inafanya, oh, inafanya mizuri, oh. Alafu anatuambia, you hear that? You hear that? Oh, hapana bwana. If you want us to know that it's working, let's go to the streets. Go to the streets. Get random people. Ask them. We are not saying that SHA is not working, but SHA has a problem. SHA can work perfectly today for you. Tomorrow, it's not working. The other problem with SHA is about hakuna madawa kwa hosi. There are no medicine in the hospital. Na ndio tumie SHA, you need to be admitted. Hii outpatient SHA haiwezi kufanyia. Lazima ukuwe admitted. The other problem with SHA is that it's not paying hospitals. So hospitals do not like using it. It's not paying hospital. Percentage zuu ulisikia 2% ya pesa kutoka SHA. Kuna msee anakula sijui ni service fee. Service fee. Kuna service fee ya 2% yenye kila time ukilipwa unakatwa. Ati inaenda kwa sijui service fee. SHA. So SHA has problems. So the president is coming out with PR, a lot of PR, and you just wonder, what are you doing? That should never be your job. You employed a CS. You have people who are in charge of SHA. Those guys should come out and convince us. Should come out and take our view. Should come out and ask what is working, what is not working, and we'll tell them. So the president behaving as if that, hata nilikuwa namuona akiwatch TV at on the promises that he made on healthcare. Alitupromise atatupatia diapers. The president of Kenya said that ukizaa mtoto kwa hii era ya Ruto anakupatia diapers for 3 months. Hizo hata watu hawajaiona. Watu hawajaiona hizo diaper. Diapers for 3 months. Alipromise. Free healthcare. Akatoa Linda Mama. Linda Mama was working wonders for women, man. Linda Mama was the best. That was the best program for Uhuru and Margaret Kenyatta. That woman will remain to be the best first lady ever. I don't think we'll ever... Okay. Bibi Sifuna atafanya better juu nasikia ni lawyer wa environment. And she's also a writer. So she will do good. She will do good, I think. The wife to Sifuna seems to have potential. Si hao wenye wanasema tu kila kitu ni maombi, hatu wanaombea sijui muddy water to turn clean, hao wenye wanataka perform miracle. At least mtoto wake, profesi ya mtoto wake kuolewa ya Benihim ilingiana. So, we're just talking about the current state of this nation. This nation has problems. We as people, we need to accept it. But we as people, we need to stop saying, oh, the president has done this. No. The president work is to do. Kazi ya president ni kufanya. Hizi kazi yetu ni kuangalia how is our life going. Mafuta iko juu ama iko juu. Cost of living iko juu ama iko juu. Education, is it working for you? For you. For you. Yali the numbers zenye president anakupatia, no. Mtoto wako anafukuzwa school fees. Capitation ijakuja on time, mtoto amefukuzwa kila wiki. Mtoto ako campus, rent si zinaenda zikipanda, gas inaenda ikipanda, tokens unatumia more. Then you as a parent, you need to ask yourself and tell yourself, hey, this government is hurting me because it's taking more from my pocket. Watu wa payslip, mnakatu affordable housing inaenda wapi? Ulisikia that interest yenye ilitoka kwa affordable housing hawajui penye ilienda. Wasi walichukua those affordable housing wakaweka kwa treasury bonds, alafu interest hatujui penye ilienda. Mzee alikula interest ya treasury bonds. Hiyo interest hata ingeenda kwa education. Hiyo interest ingeenda hata kwa SHA ama kwa healthcare. Mzee alikula interest ya affordable housing. And you guys are just telling us, oh, we need to vote Ruto because amejenga kilometers of road. Ametujengea stadium. Stadium gani? Na even your county does not have even a team, a football team. Your county even does not have a tournament. Hiyo stadium hata haitumiwi. Za kama zile zenye wanaenda kujenga Wajir huko sijui Wajir. Do you think that thing will ever have a meaning? Unaenda unawajengea stadium ya sijui 900 million. Si hawana maji. Mbona usiwapatie maji? Bali kupea hizi affordable housing, mbona usikuje ufanyie watu uwapatie maji? Utengeneze project irrigation yenye kadam kenye katasaidia watu forever. Why can't you go and solve one basic need for those people? Wanatujengea stadium. Sasa stadium itasaidia watu nini? Like for real. A stadium ama mletewe maji yenye mtatumia forever. What do you choose? A stadium is not an essential thing. So when you ask these questions, we are not saying that, oh, the president has not... No, the president has built roads, okay. But so, what then? Because it's our money. Either way, it's our money. But tunaona bado, the economy is not doing good for the mwananchi. It's doing good for the books. It's doing good for the president and his friends. But for the mwananchi, it's not doing well. Because the only thing you can count for us is the good roads that are being built. Talanta Stadium, at what cost? How many years are we paying for these things? We cannot even finance our own budget. Na president anaita watu 3,000 state house kila time. Akiwalipa tao tatu. Village elders walienda huko pia. Village elders wenye walienda state house. And they were given money. instead of president kutuma tu circular kwa DC na DC aenda meet village elders kwa kila sub county, president decide that village elders wote tuwapeleke state house, wafeel wako important. They are human beings. It's good, but is it really necessary? Was it necessary for you to carry all those people to take them to state house? So you want to convert the village elders to your campaign machinery, while in real sense hawa watoto wa village elders wenye unataka kulipa tatu wakiwa university, umewachenjia funding model. Education has become expensive. Many people are not finishing school. Si nilikuwa nasoma na 24k per semester. It was better. It was better during that time. But now everything has just turned upside down. Education system imechange, vitu ziko expensive, unachajiwa sijui ati uende weke kwa bands. I'm just wondering what are this. Unaweza pata hata watoto wenye wazazi wao wako na do wanawekwa kwa bands za the poorest, na watu wenye wazazi wao wako ni middle tu, walimu wawili wanawekwa kwa bandi ya most expensive. So walimu wako na watoto watatu wenye wote wako campus, na wote unasikia 100,000. Mwalimu atachukua loan akae aje? So inabidi mtoto mmoja aende campus, mwingine aende TVET. We have serious issues in this nation that if wananchi are not serious and wananchi are just fixed on all roads, all this, all that. No. This year we need to look at ourselves. Sisi wenyewe. We kama young person bana, are you employed first of all? If not, why are you not employed? Can you start a business? Can you go somewhere and get the youth fund to help you start a business? Can you access this money? Watu tu kupiga kelele huku nje tu, mnapiga kelele, lakini can this government change your life? Because we as young people hatufai kukubali maisha ya kuwa tu ati we were just born to suffer and to die. No. We also need good things. Good things. We need always to remind ourselves that we also need good things. Pia si tunataka tu kuendesha hizo gari zenye Ruto na watoto wake wanaendesha. How do we get that? At least the government should at least give you employment, good environment for business, licenses zikuwe chini, good policies zikuwe, tax relief zikuwe for small businesses. And those are the things that we are just asking for. Basics. Tuache kutumia thao per day, man. Using thao per day is too expensive, man. You need to stretch yourself to some crazy limits. Because ni kama ndio mtu aishi maisha fiti, anafaa lipwe minimum of 30k per month. 30k per month, nakumbuka hapo hiyo 30k inafaa ikuwe ya kukula, ujeka rent, ujeka commuter. So long as you're not paid above tuseme 30k, uko below 30k in your salary, that means that you cannot have 3 meals. That means you need to have again another business or another stream of income to compensate for you. So we have very serious issues in this country. But me on my side and from the people I'm talking to, the people feel that Ruto will be one term, because here in Western Busia County, watu wenye nimeongea now, the only issue that those guys supporting Ruto are with is that, Ruto is a sitting president, it's not possible to remove a sitting president. That is the argument. But we are asking them, hey, wewe achana story mingi, wenda vote, go and vote against the president, na hizo vitu zingine achana nazo. Wezi toa sitting president, no. You go and vote. Go and vote for the other candidate, ama uvotie president kama ndio mwenye unataka. And then let's see nani akona votes mingi. And these days kuna kitu tunafanya yenye iko very interesting, and I like this thing, whereby we say after you have a discussion about politics, we usually say let's do a vote here. Let's do a vote here. So today we were around 20 people. Let's do a vote here. You have already argued, you have already discussed, because we're also arguing about the next member of parliament for Budalangi, which is a hot topic. MCS, we were talking about ODM, UDA influence in Busia. And we're asking ourselves, now let's vote for the presidency. Let's see, who are you choosing for the presidency? Mlolongo, tukasema tufanye mlolongo ile ya kusimama nyuma ya mtu, tukasema wacha tuinue mkono. And whenever we do this, it is usually Ruto getting 1 or 2 votes, and today he had 2. 18 was saying, hey, we are going with Sifuna. Mwezi tuambia story experience, mwezi tuambia story age. We need a change, and we feel that we need a new leader that can see things differently, because Ruto bado anaona vitu vile alizionanga na Moi, vile alizionanga na Kibaki, vile alizionanga na Uhuru. We need somebody new that can come in and change things. We need somebody new that can come in and change things totally. And that's why, viewers, we are of the opinion that doesn't matter where you are, who you are, what you are doing, you need to give a chance to Sifuna. I know there are some issues with Sifuna that also I'll do a video tomorrow about them, because I don't know the game that Orengo is playing, calling himself party leader. It's a bone of contention. People are also talking about it, and people are saying, hey, Sifuna na Babu hatuoni vizuri. We do not think if they have good intentions for Sifuna at the end of it all. But for me, I just think that it's politics. Babu and Orengo wants to take over Luo as the leaders. So it's usual that the two of them will also be pushing for superiority in their region. So it's a different dynamic. But for me, I know that Sifuna has the right people around him. Natembeya, Kalasinga, Wamboka, all these other guys. He has a nice group around him. And I do not think that that group can allow Babu and Orengo to be able to push him over. Watu wanasema ati ni people pleaser. I do not think so. I do not think that Sifuna is pleasing Babu and Orengo by allowing them to say these things. But that is a discussion we need to have. Because people are saying Sifuna and Orengo did not endorse, Orengo and Babu did not endorse Sifuna in Homa Bay. But for me, my argument is that in Homa Bay, it was hostile from the start. So Babu and Orengo only had to calm down the situation. They had to talk to their people. They had to talk about the violence that has been planned for them. So it was not like this thing of Bungoma and Trans Nzoia, but it was all vibes. It was peaceful. It was nice. It was beautiful. No, it was a different game ball. And I think that's why it happened that way. So people should not read so much into it. People should not read so much into it. It was a very different circumstances. These guys will support Sifuna. Carroli Omondi already said that Sifuna is their presidential candidate come 2027. So Sifuna is the official presidential candidate come 2027. So I think that, but people need to be rather. People need to be rather also, because this Orengo and Babu, their interest in being party leaders is just crazy. You cannot understand it. You want to be a governor. Orengo tujui anataka kuwa nini. For me, I think that Orengo may decide not to vie for governorship. Orengo may decide not to go for the governorship. Juu anajua these guys want to kuniangusha. And people of Siaya most likely will not vote Orengo in, because Orengo also has not done a lot. Orengo has done also not good job. Ukiongea na watu wa Siaya watakwambia hey, Orengo hajafanya pia kazi. That is a fact. Have him in Linda Mwananchi, we like him, but has also not done some good jobs in Siaya. Combine that with the issue of ODM and Odinga family being from Siaya. Maybe ODM and the Odinga family still have some influence over the people, but I think people are breaking away from that. So Orengo may decide to say, hey, maybe if we win, I'll be in government maybe as a CS. He may decide to go into government as a CS, as an attorney general, as a whatever, and decide, hey, I'm not vying. And maybe instead of him vying, they bring in another candidate to vie. Somebody like Raphael Tuju. Raphael Tuju can come to vie for the governor of Siaya. Against who do they want to bring? This other guy mwenye alikuwa ananyima tiketi ODM. So 2027 is still far. Now, mi naona that people rushing Sifuna to form a party is too early. There are too many parties. Hii ya Ndindi Nyoro, hii yake ya ukora hii, sio pia ni party tu yenye watu wengine waliregister. So viewers, let's go to this conversation because this conversation is amazing and I want us to watch this conversation on Citizen. Carroli Omondi on the bench. What's up?
Taking a look at the direction the region is taking.
Yes.
Just but an example, what happened over the weekend?
You know, to me, from where I sit, two wrongs don't make a right. Violence and acts of political hooliganism should be condemned in the strongest terms possible, indiscriminately, irrespective of who is facilitating or abetting it.
That is true.
Now, the worrying question is, the hooligans who are terrorizing Kenyans in different parts of the country are known.
Mm-hmm.
These boys are known to be either close associates of certain politicians or close associates of certain individuals in government. Where is the police in all this? Yeah? If we utilize what happened in Homa Bay as an example, we had instances where certain roads were blocked for a whole day. You can't tell me that can happen in Kenya.
And that is what I was saying.
Yeah? In the full glare of the police. Where is the police in all this? Yes. And that is why there's a perception that perhaps the goons are being facilitated by individuals in government.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah? Because the cardinal responsibility of any government is to protect the lives and property of its citizens. Do you want to tell me that government has lost control of governance to the extent that it has either outsourced its core responsibility?
I know a few people that trade Solana shitcoins, right? And yeah, they post this 100x on like 2Sol or whatever, and they're...
To answer. It is mind-boggling that this act of violence is happening in different parts of the country and the police is not able to arrest these instances of violence.
You sat in cabinet.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And the president, a year after naming his cabinet on the 2nd of October 2023, decried incompetence of his cabinet ministers.
Yeah.
Of course, worth remembering that he makes the appointments.
Yeah.
In your view, is the current composition of the appointee, Kipchumba Murkomen, his principal secretary, is incompetence driving what we're witnessing? I mean, because you pointed out roads that have been blocked for a whole day.
Yeah, roads blocked for a whole day.
The presence of police questionable. In your view, having sat in cabinet and served this government, has incompetence gotten us here?
Well, to begin with, it is the prerogative of the president to organize, reorganize, and even disorganize his own government the way he deems appropriate.
Yes.
Okay? So it is not for me to suggest whom he should appoint to certain positions. That is his prerogative, depending on how he wants to govern.
The problem is...
But as we are today, based on the facts of the case, our security system is not working. Yeah, our security system is not working. We can't have this acts of violence in different parts of the country. What we witnessed in Olkalau during the by-elections, what we witnessed in Nakuru, what we witnessed in Kisii, and now in Homa Bay, and then the police does nothing about it. That clearly shows that either the police are accomplices in the acts of violence, or perhaps we have got certain unofficial channels giving command or instruction to the police, yeah, outside the formal chain of what? Chain of command. Could it be that individuals in government have lost control of their functional mandate to the extent that we have got certain intervening variables, yeah, extraneous factors coming into play to the extent that we have these goons getting instructions from unofficial circles?
Yes.
Yeah, those are the questions that we need to ask.
Okay, Honorable Mark Nyamita, going into the elections next year, the present situation certainly if you gauge or examine, do you think it poses that spillover effect as we...
we condemn violence in all its forms, regardless of who is perpetrating it. We were talking about what happened in Omondi. Think about it. There have been people trying to say that, the police were goons to attack one side of the political divide. Mm-hmm. Let's say that was the case. We ended up with a case where one police was killed. That policeman actually is coming from Migori, and several other policemen were hurt.
Yeah.
So who hurt them? The people they were protecting, or the people on the opposite side? That's a big question.
That is a stupid.
When we have people who have come on record and said, we do not want the issue of the police, we will take care of ourselves if the police have failed. These are very serious statements. And in the absence of the police in this nation, then we are a failed state.
We are already a failed state.
So I want to say that police have instances where they have done right. There have also many instances whereby we can put them to fault, whereby we find that the police have failed to act
a whole town
in good time, either on information or even to protect certain acts of lawlessness. And we are saying the police needs to be called to order. You remember this regime, and I'm glad that we are here with Elliot. When they came into force, I don't know whether the full independence that was granted to the police is what has made them now not take orders from even the ministry. Because before, the police were falling under the Ministry of Interior, even in terms of accounting. But when this government came into place, it gave some level of independence to the police. In the sense that now, they have their own budget lines, they have their own accounting officer, they have their own. And I remember, my good CSCIs, there was one time, I think, we were trying to look for one policeman who was to be attached to one senior government official when he was in cabinet during that particular time. And it took a very long time because that person could not direct the police to actually attach. So I don't know whether this is what has created the independence. So but
ideally, we should have... Ideally, the Inspector General should be autonomous in operational decisions, isn't it?
Absolutely. And if then, which I think the Inspector General is actually autonomous. So these lapses that we are seeing, we need to call that police, the IG, to order and say this and this has gone wrong. For example, the one serious death, for example, the one for Albert Ojwang. What we saw is not what should have actually happened. But we are glad that, there is a prosecution going on. There's a case that is actually in court and investigations are going on. The political class would want to, spill blood with it and try to draw sympathy all over. But at least there's some action that actually has happened. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority need to be called to act. And that is actually between me, for us who are sitting in Parliament. We can actually try and see where they have failed. The relevant arm of government, for example, in Parliament, we need to actually oversight. So in Homa Bay, when we had a policeman who had died, and when we had several policemen who were hurt, they can't have been hurt by people who they were purportedly trying to protect. They must have been hurt by people on the opposite side. And that's why I'm saying we are condemning violence in all its forms, regardless of where it's actually coming from. And I do not want to use past deaths or past instances to justify what has actually happened. And we do not want anyone to be hurt or to die as we head towards election, just because we want to get elected. That one we are condemning in all its forms. Okay. But, Ayub, let's be fair. Let's compare what has happened now and what has happened also previously. Is it getting worse? Or are we trying to improve? Because police excesses are all over. It's not only in Kenya.
Look at this.
I'm not trying to put a case for them. But police excesses happen everywhere, including in the US. You remember the guy who killed Floyd? There could be those lapses, but what action is it that we are taking? So we are saying that the police must step into action, and we are condemning violence.
Okay, at all levels.
At all levels.
And that includes...
And from both sides.
Okay, and that includes, because he's on record, Peter Opondo Kaluma, your colleague.
I was on radio this morning, and I am on this show. I am saying the statements that were said by Opondo Kaluma were unfortunate.
Yeah.
They were reckless. Because you cannot say that go and fish people from the hotels, and we end up with businessmen who have employed people from the county. Yes. That one I condemn. And I condemned it. I said that shouldn't have come from a leader. Okay. And Opondo Kaluma is on the broad-based side where I am sitting. But on the same note, I am also saying the Linda Wananchi team, who are also saying, let's go and deal with those guys. Collect stones, let us throw stones. Because that one I'm also condemning.
He is here, so we'll put that question. And from the police statement, just for confirmation purposes, and on a factual note, the police driver died after losing control of the vehicle, and the other sustained injuries in the aftermath. So he wasn't attacked personally.
The police who died is someone known to me. It's called Onkundi.
Yeah.
He had a stone on his head. He was hit on the head.
He lost control of the vehicle.
Let me tell him what happened. First, I want to challenge him because I've brought a censure motion in Parliament against Opondo Kaluma. He sits in the Speaker's panel. He has incited the public and organized violence against fellow members of Parliament. That goes against Leadership and Integrity Act, Standing Orders, Powers and Privileges, the Constitution, Chapter 6, Article 10 of the Constitution. So we are going to censure him, and we want to hear your voice voting with us.
Very well. No.
When the motion
it's not about my voice voting with you.
No, you have to.
Let him make his substantive remarks.
Let it not just be talk here. When we go to the House and the motion comes to the floor, he must be censured.
My good friend is a lawyer. Let me just remind
you. Go ahead.
When you come, you must also come with clean hands. Carroli should be the last person to bring a censure motion when he was on top of a vehicle, urging the guys, let's finish this rally very quickly to go and deal with those people in Omondi. And we end up with a death. And then he wants to come here and say that
let us finish and we are going to Omondi now.
You can play the clip. You can play the clip.
I listened to the clip.
Yes.
I followed the proceedings. Yes. He spoke in the Luo and in English.
Yes.
He said we'll go to Omondi now.
Yeah. That's what I say.
To go and deal?
No.
It is
Those
there.
are your own words.
Yes. So make your substantive
now. Let me explain. I was there. At some point, my vehicle was the last at the back. My own brothers have been hurt, friends, relatives, people I know. We are paying hospital bills. We've gotten them out. The police, this is how the state assisted and facilitated the violence. One, they enabled the goons brought by the county government of Omondi by giving them electronic trailing on us. They did. The police, including those who pretended to be protecting us, even as we were driving into Omondi, there was a police vehicle in front of us. It disappeared. Those who were around us were completely inactive. The roads had been barricaded for hours. Why didn't the police order that they be cleared? Why didn't they remove the stones, the 2 kilometers from Kodoyo Junction into Omondi Fish Market? Why didn't they do that? That is acquiescence. They did not want to assist. And to make matters worse, the police were within the crowd using tear gas in Nyandiwa, in Sindo, to stop guys from accessing the venues of the rally. They did. These are facts. The police who were stoned were actually on a vehicle at the back, and one of their vehicles had stalled. There was a pickup that had stalled.
Who stoned them?
The goons that were attacking us are the ones who attacked them. The police came to hide in our vehicles. Some got into our vehicles. Some were hanging on our vehicles.
Contextualize that one. Yeah. Contextualize that.
Yes, because wait a minute.
The police were stoned by goons.
Yes,
trying to protect who?
How many took refuge?
Let's not sensationalize things.
Listen. Yeah. On the front, there were boulders, there were electric poles. The roads had been blocked. So some of our supporters were clearing the road as we were moving. We were being attacked from behind and on the sides. Some of the policemen who were injured took refuge in some of our vehicles. Others were hanging on our vehicles as we fought our way through. I was there.
So I am with you. I'm just trying to say...
The people who are beating the police are the Wanga goons and the Kaluma goons. They are the ones who are beating the police.
And the police were trying to protect you guys?
No, they were there. They were not trying to protect us. They had AK-47s. Why didn't they fire?
You see, this is a point, Ayub.
So let me ask Honorable Carroli, as you make your point.
Yes.
We also, from the series of the rallies that you did,
Yes.
we witnessed also youths in your company who had machete.
Yes. Let me explain.
Do you condemn that as well? Yeah. How did it get there?
Let me explain to you what had happened. These people had barricaded all the roads. When Orengo was trying, not just Orengo, Kibagendi, the rest of the MPs, when they were trying to come into Homa Bay County, they were being stoned at various roadblocks. Rangwe, Rodi Kopany, Ndiwa. And they were fighting their way through. In Nyandiwa, the population, the people came out and started fighting the goons themselves. And the goons had pangas. The people went and self-armed themselves to come and fight them. In Sindo,
so your machetes?
Not our machetes. The common public, they were being told you can't go to the rally site. They said, why? Why can't we? We had not even arrived. We were still at the airport trying to clear our way through. And the people themselves came out and said, we will defend ourselves. And once, actually, they fought those guys for 4 hours. Once they overwhelmed them, they told us, now you can come. Then we went, and there was peace. But these guys had even tear gas. Yeah. So you see, all these things is telling us here. The police violence. I have a list here of Luo youths who have been killed in the last 2 months, abducted, shot, maimed, killed in police custody. I have here. And I read it in Parliament today. You see, the violence is not just against politicians. There has been no government that is violent to Luos like this one. And do you know what they are trying to do? They are trying to use Luos to cover it. So today they brought an incompetent person to be the chairman of IPOA, somebody who does not meet the qualifications.
You mean Dr. Ojwang?
Yes, and we were debating it in the House. I looked at the report. I raised questions. They were very upset. The reason why he's being brought is because he does not have the qualifications. When he will be called upon to do whatever they want, he will toe the line.
So are you saying he's not there by merit?
No, he's not. He has academic deficiencies.
What is the qualification to be the chairperson of IPOA?
We looked at that. Let me explain to you. First, the qualifications are those of a judge. Yeah? In Kenya, to be a lawyer, to be a judge, you must be a lawyer, correct? To be a lawyer, you must have had 3 years of full-time training. He is at 2 years. So even the Council of Legal Education does not recognize that qualification. That is the starting point. But the most fundamental one, to be a judge in this country, one of the qualifications is impartiality. Yes. So I pose the question, if you went to these boys, the family of Cecil Ouma, the one who was shot in P.S. Firikini's car, Shadrach Onyango, shot in Busia, Frederick Odhiambo, shot in Busia, Dennis Omondi, shot in Vihiga, Tony Onyango, shot in Vihiga, Evans Otieno, still missing up to now, never been found in Nairobi, Michael Olo, still missing up to now, abducted, Eric Otieno, died in Muthaiga police station. Even the family of Albert Ojwang, if you ask them, do they have confidence that this man can investigate the cases impartially? They will tell you no, because they've seen him active in Kenya Kwanza government activities, in NADCO issues. So he is the wrong person. But you know why they brought him? Because under Moi, when the torture was at its peak, the person in charge of internal security was a Luo. The person prosecuting was a Luo. The judge before they appeared was a Luo. The chief torturer was a Luo. So they are doing the same thing now, so that when they beat up the Luos, they can say, but it is your people who are there. We know this game, and we are not going to...
So let me go to Owalo, and I'll come to you, Honorable Nyamita.
Yes.
Ayub, just a point of order.
Can I ask him? Yeah?
No, I'm not asking a question, just so that we have a structured debate. Can we deal with... Someone is not jumping from the qualification of the guy in IPOA to politics, so that we have a structured debate, so that, because we have asked us which way Nyanza, that's why we are here for the debate. So I just want to ask you as a moderator, so that we have a structured debate. If he is pursuing the line, one, he talked about the censure motion in Parliament. Yeah. We can finish up with that one. If he's talking about the qualification of the guy who's coming under IPOA, finish up with that one. If we are talking about the issue that is in Homa Bay, we can talk about it and then finish it, so that we have a structure. Because otherwise then, these guys will, my good friend will try and mix you up by bringing in different issues so that we are no. But back to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is all this happening because of the absence of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga? Is there a vacuum in your view that is necessitating this?
Of course, yes. I mean, you can't wish, you can't negate the stature and political prowess of Raila Odinga. But in instances like this, new leadership will always do what? Emerge.
Correct.
But the best way to deal with this is to allow a level playing ground. Yeah? So that the people of Nyanza, and by extension, even Kenya for that matter, yeah, have got a variety of choice to pick from the political menu. That's why I'm a very strong advocate of multiplicity.
FX Pro. Trade like a pro.
We cannot in this day and age be talking about political enclaves in certain regions, that a certain region is reserved for a given political party. That is inimical to the letter and spirit of multi-party politics. We can't accept that. So the starting point is this. Let us allow different political parties to take part in that political space in Nyanza so that the people can choose the best leaders that they want. One of the biggest problems, and perhaps this is what is causing this, because I'm talking from experience, because I've been part and parcel of ODM myself, not just as a passive player, but a key cog within that circle, just as Carroli, my friend here as well. One of the biggest challenges we are facing today is that most of the leaders in Nyanza today have never been elected. They were always handpicked.
They always handpicked and given to the people.
And the people, the masses, are not comfortable with their leadership. And this is why they are scared of a different political narrative, coming from their political opponents on the ground. So they want to zone the region, that this is an exclusive zone for ODM. We don't want political competition. Why? If you are popular, why are you afraid of political competition?
Well said, well said, well said.
So that's where we should start from. We must allow different political parties to participate in that space, just as it is happening in different parts of the country. We must allow multiplicity of candidates for each and every position, all the way from the MCA to the top, to the president. Yeah? So that individuals in Nyanza have got the freedom of choice to choose the best, based on individual track record and the agenda for the people moving forward. Not for purposes of political expediency.
Yes.
Or tribal hero worshipping. I don't subscribe to tribal politics myself. Yeah. But in response to the real challenges facing the people, the time could not be more ripe. 2027 is the year.
So was that absent in Odinga's presence and present in Odinga's absence?
What do you mean?
Well, we have had challenges in giving the people of Nyanza the freedom of choice to choose leaders. We have so many of these, and it is known, it is in the public domain, that most of the leaders we have in Nyanza today are handpicked. They are handpicked leaders. They were never elected. We have got many individuals who would be in parliament today if we had a level playing ground in what? In Nyanza. So we must open that space. And for the avoidance of doubt, next year, we are going to have many political parties, starting with PPP, People's Prosperity Party, which I subscribe to, taking part in elections in Nyanza and different parts of the country. We will have many candidates running for different positions. So those in leadership today, either as MPs or governors, they must live up to that reality. Trying to zone Nyanza as an exclusive zone for ODM just because you don't want political competition, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
It's not going to happen.
I just wanted to say, maybe I'll respond to what he's talking about. I'm an elected leader twice. I was not handpicked. There is no process. There is no path to parliament through handpicking. It is through an elective. People go to the ballot and put in the whatever.
At the nomination level of the party?
At the nomination level. But yes, people still have an opportunity. I come from Migori. We have had a governor who was on a PDP ticket. All I am saying is that I don't think that there is any political party or any person, whether they want or not, who has the capacity to stop anyone from running. Not at all. But within a coalition, for example, in the broad-based coalition, they can say, okay, fine, we prefer one party to go. But if anyone is dissatisfied, for example, I am an ODM member, I will go through the ODM nomination process. If it is fair, I will shake the hands of the person who is winning. If I win, I hope they also do the same. If I find that it is not fair, I still have a path. I can go run on independent.
Was that the case for all ODM party members?
I am talking about what I know. They were, they've said they're the ones at the cogs, so maybe they know what exactly was happening there. But all I am
so let's pay attention to what we know. Let's pay attention to what we know then, and it's in the public domain for also avoidance of doubt. For example, are you aware of how the nomination process happened in Homa Bay County in the build-up to
the last election? It was through an opinion poll, and people, Carroli was given a direct ticket, I was given a direct ticket, and we are here in Parliament. But let me tell you, Raila Odinga you are not your ordinary politician. Because if he had the power to say that we want Ayub to be the member of Parliament, and people would listen to him, that was his strength. Give it to him. Give it to him. Because there was no day he put a gun on anyone's head. He would say, ODM party, this area, I want you guys to vote for my person, and this is my person. And people would listen to him. He persuaded in whichever way he used to persuade. There was no gun on anyone's head. Okay? As we go into this election, I think that freedom must be given. Anyway, the freedom is guaranteed by Constitution. If Owalo wants to field in a candidate, for example, in Migori, he will be free, and that person will meet everyone. If Linda Mwananchi wants to field in a candidate in by constituency in the county, they will do, and that person will get to the ballot. The issue that we are saying for Nyanza, and let me come to the issue Carroli was talking about many of our young people that have died. And I really want us to be fair, and we contextualize what they do. For the last 30 plus years, the face of fight for democracy, fight for human rights has been African community. And many of our people have known nothing else but fighting for stuff in the street. So that today, when there is anything to be fought for, the first people who present themselves...
Can I fix your mic? Because there seems to be a problem with the communication. And then you'll proceed from there. Don't worry. Just,
Can I say something?
Yes.
In response to what he's saying. Granted that we have had different candidates running for different positions. But some of these individuals have been curtailed by these acts of violence. That if you are not a candidate in this party, you cannot be allowed to exercise your democratic right freely. You are curtailed in movement, like what happened in Homa Bay the other day. Yes. That is what we are against. Yeah? Let each and every candidate for whatever position have the freedom to do what? To campaign freely, without interference, without obstacles, without impediments. Then we are game, irrespective of whom the people choose, will recognize that person as the duly elected
so like person.
Yes.
We isolate the issue of violence. We're saying no one should make violence with any other person. And everyone should be allowed to campaign anywhere they want to campaign, in whichever way they want to campaign, but issue-based. However, it is also our right that when people are coming to mislead, for example, the Linda Mwananchi team, and Rengo, who is a senior politician, I mean, a person who's been around for one person who we truly respect. Truth be said, the things that he had gone earlier and said even about Governor Gladys Wanga were really unfortunate. Maybe he said them in vernacular. I can't even pronounce them here on TV. But they were so gross. They didn't show any respect, even for himself. When he spoke about Governor Wanga as a woman who does many other things, it was completely out of space. That one we also condemn. So we are condemning vulgar language. We are condemning disrespect for fellow leaders. We are condemning violence in all its forms.
Okay.
And we are asking that everyone be given a freedom of association and of speech, for that matter, so that we can get into politics of substance. So today, when we are talking about which way for Nyanza, and that's what I want the gist of this debate should be about, which way for Nyanza? So when my brother says, I was talking about, he's listed the names of Luos.
Yeah.
And I also think they're trying to list the name of Luos in their numbers so that, and I sympathize with the families that have lost their loved ones for that matter. But they want to sympathize so that they draw a bit of sympathy from our people and show that some of our people in government are presiding over the deaths of our fellow brothers. And that's not the truth. And because we have lost many people, think about the post-election violence of 2007. Of the 1,400 plus people who died, close to 1,000 were Luos. Think about the post-election violence when Uhuru Kenyatta came into power. We lost close to over 600 people. About 500 and something were Luos. Okay. Think about this particular election. After Ruto came to power, the street protest, The guys who were on the streets, they were Luos. That time, Luos were not in government. So what we are telling the community, and as leaders from that particular region, we are telling our guys, it is okay. We can fight for human rights. But for the time for us to be at the battlefront on street fighting, you know, being the ones who are championing, the ones who lead the protest, is over. We have taken a different direction.
Yeah.
Let us give that space to other people.
Okay.
Because do not put yourself on the firing line, and then we try now to use it to draw sympathy. Okay. So we are telling our young people, please retreat back home.
Yeah. Is the ODM party much weaker party in the aftermath of Odinga's death?
The question is, does it still exist?
As a political party?
Maybe in name and in some small quarters.
Do you think it still exists?
There's no ODM in Coast. Yeah. Very limited areas, pockets here and there. And I think by November, most of them will have joined Linda Mwananchi. Nairobi, ODM will not win any seat. All the ODM seats in Nairobi, 8 parliamentary seats, 36 MCA seats will go to Linda Mwananchi. There's no ODM in Western Kenya. There's no ODM in Kisii. There's no ODM in Masailand. We will take the seats in Wajir, the ODM seats in Wajir. ODM in Nyanza, a few people may survive in ODM, but majority will be with Linda Mwananchi. So I don't see any future in ODM. But you have asked which way Nyanza.
So how many members of parliament from the ODM party at the moment have onboarded Linda Mwananchi?
Let me tell you. Yeah. When Raila told us we were walking out of Ford Kenya and that he was forming NDP, that question was asked. I think it was only Job Omino who left with him. When the elections were held, everybody was with him. Mm-hmm. It is going to happen the same way. Because what we have seen, even on this trip to Homa Bay, from Kisumu into Homa Bay and from Homa Bay back to Kisumu, every little urban center on that road, at night they poured out chanting one time, saying they're with Linda Mwananchi. We are very encouraged. Actually, what really encourages me in Luoland today is that the electorate are smarter than the leaders, far much smarter than the leaders, and they understand the nuances. The leaders, as I said, they are mainly windbags. Windbags are people who talk a lot, but convey very little substance. They talk so much about development. He comes from Migori. The greatest economic activity there, the main economic activity in Migori is cane farming. The only big manufacturing plant there is Sony Sugar. Sony Sugar was leased out for 260 million. The person only paid 60 million and walked in. He has stripped the company of the vehicles. Okay. He is selling out everything. The fellow has removed people from their quarters. They've reduced the cane per ton. As we speak today, and I want to show you, and I don't know whether he knows this, as the people in government just put another question in Parliament. This is a letter from Cooperative Bank. They are selling the nucleus estate. They are auctioning the nucleus estate. Mark, you may need this for your.
I'm quite aware about it.
So they are talking about broad-based, yet the jewel of their economic activities is being auctioned. Okay. The people who've leased it want to buy the nucleus estate the way they did with Miwani, where they stole the 10,000 acres, where we wanted to put free economic zone for Kisumu. Yeah. So they are doing the same. That's a statutory notice of sale. You can clearly see.
Has that affected cane production?
They are not even, I think for a long time, they were not even milling there. What they are doing, the people are harvesting the cane. Okay. The leasing was not done competitively. So whoever is leased, they like to mill in their own private companies so that they don't pay the compensation to the farmer.
Because I'm looking at the data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics.
Yes.
And it shows that sugar production rebounded significantly the first half of this year, 2026. Correct. And this is to 143 metric tons between January and now, up from 285,418 tons in the same period in 2025.
So the question is, if it did, why are they allowing importation of sugar, table sugar? The other day, Kibo's sugar. And they're importing again.
I come from the sugar belt. At least I have a right to tell you
why. Why are they allowing importation of sugar?
Okay, so
if there's enough sugar.
I hosted one of the members who also brought up that point, Marianne Ketani.
Yes.
And understandably, that is an industrial sugar.
It was not industrial.
Which will be repurposed. But do you think this has...
Not industrial.
Okay.
I have documents. If you had asked me, I would have brought them.
So is the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics report incorrect?
I don't know where they got their data from. I am telling you the data I have, the information I have. Sugar is...
Where did you get your data from? Let me tell you. I come from Sony. I come from Sony.
And we investigate...
Just a moment. I come from Sony. Carroli does not even own an acre of sugarcane. I am telling you, I'm coming from Sony.
But that does not mean
and I am
what is going on.
So, first, he's given us wrong statistics.
Save the fact
you have actually shared there.
Yes.
Cane production has actually gone higher. That industry was dead. The whole sugar industry, this government paid close to 112 billion to pay off debts. Part of that letter that is talking about from Cooperative Bank is part of the debt that actually not been paid. It's about 800 million shillings, if I'm correct.
863 million.
Yeah, it's about 800 million. What was actually supposed to happen? Part of the leasing, the requirement is that the lessee is supposed to pay about 50 million shillings every single month to Treasury. Mm-hmm. And when this letter actually came out, and there was a lot of panic, and they've spread a lot of propaganda, about 400,000 acres of nucleus farms for Sony are going to be sold. One, Sony does not have 400,000 acres. It's about less than 3,000 acres. The National Treasury, I have spoken to the CS National Treasury. They have already had chats with the Cooperative Bank. They are taking over that one. They are taking over the payment of that debt because it was part of the conditions that they needed to clear off all the outstanding debts. The employees he's talking about who are in the staff quarters, I come from the area and they're my voters. Let me tell you.
Okay. Can I ask him a question?
Just hold on. Finish up. Substantially, they have been paid, but there is a balance which is for employees who, because, when a new investor comes in, they've paid almost 90%. Actually, and in the supplementary budget, which was passed in Parliament, Carroli, 2.7 billion was put under sugar sector reforms. That money is supposed to be availed. They're just waiting for exchequer release to pay off the people. They have not been kicked out. They've been given notices. But as soon as they get their money, then they're actually going to be let go. Number two, the price per ton has gone higher. When he's talking about that, it had gone to about 3,600. Now it's over 5,000 shillings. The time for payment for sugar, when you deliver your cane to the factory, people had delivered and waited for years. Today, when you deliver cane, I have delivered cane. I am a sugar cane farmer. When you deliver cane, you will be paid in less than 2 weeks. So I don't know what he's talking about, including disputing data from the...
Okay, can I ask Nyamita a simple question?
Okay. Let's do.
No, a simple question.
Because we need to move issue by issue.
You are a member of parliament.
Yes.
From a sugar group.
And a senior one. I'm your senior colleague.
Did you ever see a government valuation report before the leasing of the mills?
I do not want. Let me tell you.
No, did you see one?
No, I did not.
Yes, because there's none. How do you lease government assets without a valuation?
That is a different question.
You did not value the sugar cane, the nucleus.
No.
Value what was in
That's a different.
That is an illegality.
That's a different question.
Because this was a scheme to stop the mills.
That's a different question.
Let's be
for
honest.
us, for the farmers.
How can you support something?
What is the biggest problem for our farmers? Let's be realistic.
That is
listen to me. Listen to me. We have had several regimes that let these sugar factories accumulate debt in excess of 100 billion ayub. In one go, the government committed to clear 100. T-shares or otherwise, they just verified a little, but they said, we are paying. Why? Because the livelihoods of people in the sugarcane area had been affected.
Right.
Today, those lives are bounced back.
Okay.
So when you're talking about valuation, that thing was already a scrap.
So that's settled. Allow me to go to Honorable Owalo.
Yes.
Honorable
yes,
Carroli.
Yeah.
Because let's go systematically, issue by issue, so that we theme the conversation, all right?
Yes. Yeah.
And this was on the consequence of Odinga's absence in the region.
Yeah.
And I'll come to Nyamita on what happened in Naivasha recently and the Linda Mwananchi representative here.
Okay.
But for you, where do you stand in the divide between Linda Ground and Linda Mwananchi?
I'm very clear on this. You see, within our People's Prosperity Party, we are neither two-term nor one-term. We are fresh-term. And I'll back my argument with valid reasons. Where we are today as a country, we need a paradigm shift historically, we have had changes in regime. But the challenges facing Kenyans have remained substantially the same every election cycle or subsequent to every election cycle. Are you with me or you are still busy on the phone?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Okay, fine. I want you to give me full attention. Okay. We have had successive changes in regime since independence. But the challenges facing Kenyans remain the same since 1963. So what have we been doing? We have all sorts of promises being advanced by politicians during elections. When they get into government, it becomes business as usual, as opposed to business what? Unusual. The same challenges we have had in previous governments, like corruption, are transitioned to the subsequent government. What happens? A new government comes in, they embrace the same entrepreneurs that were in the previous what? Previous government. So the problem that we have been having, which must be sorted out now in this coming election, is the leadership deficit. What type of leader do we need for Kenya? To me, we need a leader who can sort out the punitive taxation regime that has led to the high cost of living index. That's why Kenyans don't have money in the pocket and they are struggling to put food on the what? On the table. We need a new set of leaders. What has been happening every election cycle is that leaders, politicians, cobble together ethnic conglomerates so that they get the numbers and statistics to enable them win elections. Bring your community, I bring my community, another leader brings his or her community, we get the ethnic numbers, we get elected. Once we are in government, we forget about the people. And we think about ourselves in government. We must fix that this coming elections. And the people are ahead. Kenyans today, if you talk to any Kenyan from any part of the country, they'll tell you that they don't care about tribe. What they want is the right leadership that can sort out the challenges facing Kenyans. And those challenges are universal to all Kenyans, irrespective of where they come from. And that's why I'm saying it is pointless to either continue with the current leadership that is not addressing the fundamental challenges facing Kenyans today, or bring in a new set of leadership that is going to continue with business as usual. So given the opportunity, and I really want to plead with the Kenyans this time round, let us elect a combination or a team of transformational leaders that are really going to truly fix the challenges facing the common mwananchi. Otherwise, it will be a question of just changing the forest, but the monkeys remain the same, or you replace the monkeys with baboons.
So
it's a zero-sum game.
Okay, figuratively then. Aren't you one amongst the many monkeys in Kenya's political establishment? Did you underestimate or overestimate when you supported the present administration? You talked about taxation, punitive tax proposals in the first finance bill 2023. In 2024, Kenyans went to parliament and said, do not pass these punitive tax proposals contained in the bill. You sat in cabinet, supported the government, co-authored, engineered the better plan.
You are not
if you want to offer fresh political sled then, do you also take the blame? Or would you be, can you fairly not be part of the wholesale condemnation of the political elite?
I walked out of government because I didn't want to betray my conscience. Having been in government and having come from the private sector, I've got existential experience in the private sector, having been a consultant also to government. I've actually, for your information, I've developed most of the strategic plans in this country, whether they're for line ministries or parastatals. So I understand in totality the operations of government. I also have existential experience in government, positive experience and also challenges faced in government. When I was Minister for ICT, CS for ICT, I led a transformational digital and creative economy agenda that entailed the digital superway, rolling out the 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable, setting up the Wi-Fi hotspots, establishment of digital hubs, digitalization of government services from a mere 350 services when we came into government to a whopping over 20,000 services within a period of 1.5 years. So my track record speaks for itself as a performer. When I was CS for ICT, under my leadership, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission did an audit of all ministries, governance audit of all government ministries, and the Ministry of ICT was voted by EACC as the least corrupt under my leadership. So my track record speaks for itself. But having said that, you are aware I transitioned from CS ICT to another cabinet level position as deputy chief of staff, where I was responsible for supervising the rollout of all government programs and projects. Okay? So I had the benefit of touring different parts of the country. But wherever I went, people told me that, look, whatever you guys do, so long as we don't have money in the pocket, and we are struggling to put on the table, we are not going to vote for you people. And they asked me,
doesn't matter what
they told me, Owalo, you seem to be cut from a different cloth. We have monitored your performance in government. And today, where Kenya is, we do not necessarily need a legacy politician at the helm as president. We need a technocrat, manager who can look after the resources of this country. And from where we sit as Kenyans, we feel you fit the bill. And that's why I stepped out of government, so that I can lead. By example, I can lead this third and final liberation of this country, which in my view is economic emancipation.
So one of the major issues that Kenyans also decried about, so this is to take you back to the paperwork you presented to the Kenyan people. Then your candidate won power. Page 20 of the Better Plan, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, helped emphasized on the need for the housing question to address that. So which later on ended up deduction as a levy. And Kenyans decried about that. So in your manifesto, you pointed out that the Kenya Kwanza administration will commit 250 billion in the financial year 22-23 to 26-27, of which budget commitment 50 billion will be made, with 200 to be financed by pension funds. In bracket, assets under management currently stands at 1.5 trillion and other collective investment schemes, including diaspora bonds. At no point did you mention that you will deduct Kenyans. Well, why did you not resign from government when the matter was before Parliament and Kenyans said no?
But why did I resign from government? I resigned from government because I was not comfortable with the certain ongoings in government. You have not asked me that.
But
I thought as early as you could have done that, to be fair, isn't it?
Ayub Waziri eloquently elaborates the things that he delivered. Digitizing of government services from X number to over 20,000. Rollout of digital superhighway. He wants to associate that with himself. But when we tell him this has been done by the Kenya Kwanza government under President William Ruto, he says, no.
No, I've not said so. I was part of that
so this is the thing.
He admitted.
Just a minute. Mark, can you allow me to finish?
Okay.
Because I gave you also your time. You're advancing your arguments. You see, I talked about my performance, where I was the responsibility center as cabinet secretary for what? For ICT. Not the sum total of performance of government, because I was not the responsibility center in that context. The buck stops with the president as the CEO, is the accountable center. These are the facts of the case. If I'm president today, I'm responsible, fully responsible and accountable for all acts of omission and commission in government. So you cannot tell me that if there were certain challenges in the housing sector, just because I was in government, I should become liable and accountable.
The deductions is what Kenyans decried. Yes, Mark.
And I just want to speak about ICT.
No, not ICT. So
no. It's good to challenge on what he's talking about is the track record.
Okay, can we be thematic because of also getting more extensive coverage? So out of the Naivasha ODM party meeting, give us, because if I look at some of what the coalition is likely going to point out, with this divide, and you a much weaker party, given what Carroli and the likes are doing?
Well, I think Carroli is giving his opinion. His opinion because he says he was ODM and he stepped out and now he's pursuing. And, everyone has to pull. When you speak to Owalo, Owalo went to 2-3 places and a few people told him that they want someone who's cut from a different cloth. And Owalo is here saying that, he's going to be the technocrat and whatever. So everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But when we were in Naivasha, we had over 300 members of parliament, and that is both the Senate and the National Assembly. And you could see it from the group photo, the guys who were there. So you see, politics is not something that you speak what is in your mind. It is actually what you actually see. And in that Naivasha meeting, by the way, the major agenda, which we tasked the president, we asked him, tell us what you've done over the last 4 years. He went pillar by pillar. Even if you speak about this thing, people talk about SHA. There's an ongoing health summit. Yesterday, there was even a town hall being led by the president. And he asked, please ask me those difficult questions. And Ayub, we can disagree with the president on many issues, how he looks, how he carries himself. But in terms of being fair in the distribution of the national cake, he has made a good attempt. He might not have attained 100%, but he has made a good attempt. So he did list the things that he has done in each and every sector. And if time will allow, we can highlight some of them. He did list each one of them. And he said, guys, now I have done this. I want us to do more. So, because now and you remember that day was actually, the countdown began on that day. So he said, now that we want to do more,
That is personal. Carroli is mad. Ah, Carroli is a fake bazoo. Okay. 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 That is very important. Huyo ni kuwala kutumia mwananchi. February. Na CPTI ni za Uhuru kwenda good question.
Oh, hello. Okay.
Fair to whom? Fair to whom? Ndio mumtumie makundi. We are busy. You don't want people to win.